Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. How you doing? All of a sudden, I sat down here and I'm like, chilly. And that's crazy because it's been hot outside all day, but excuse me. Happy Thursday, everybody. How are you? I hope everybody's doing really, really good. I appreciate you guys hopping on here with me. I'm doing things a little different tonight, but I get a lot of questions about our lifestyle, and I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of a dive into it tonight, because it's really not as difficult as a lot of people think. Okay, I'm gonna put it out there, and I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through what we do and why we do it and some different things like that. So guys, if you're hopping on here with me live, if you can see a red live up in the corner, I'd love it if you would type live in the comments. Please let me know where you're watching from. And if you're catching me later on, it'll say was live up there, and that's great too. It just means you're catching the Facebook replay. If you type replay in the comments, I'd love it. Let me know where you're watching from. I always get curious how far these things go. I see some people from Australia and some from across, I'm trying to think, I can't think of it right now, like over in the Ireland, places like that. So I love seeing where everybody's tuning in from. My name is Jan. I live in Southeast Nebraska. I love sharing, like I said, about this. What got us started was that Dave and I were both very overweight. And you know, when you're in a bad spot, your health is going crazy and stuff like that, you know, you're just trying to fix everything. So, you know, our whole why was to lose weight, which, you know, we both have. Once we started the lifestyle and the supplements that we're on, I lost 50 pounds. I've pretty much maintained that, you know, that little fluctuation that goes. Dave is down over 100 pounds, and actually from the heaviest that he ever was, he's probably lost 150 pounds. So, you know, getting healthier really was in the back of our mind. Hey, Susan. Hi, Lee. Hi, Ricky. Thanks, guys, for jumping on. Getting healthier really wasn't our main focus, although I think ultimately you feel like, hi, Tony, you feel like that if you take off that weight, you're probably going to get healthier. And that's, you know, that's kind of the ultimate goal. So, but I'm going to talk a little bit about our low carb lifestyle. Some people are a little confused by it. So I'm just going to kind of touch on it. And then I'm going to invite you also to join my group, Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave. You don't have to be diabetic to be in there, just looking for some recipes, maybe some encouragement, different things like that. Hi, Carol. Because that's what I put out in that group, okay? And I try to keep it as active as I can. I am a very busy person, and I put in there as much as I can, guys. But I'm open to other people sharing in there also. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Cheryl. So please, if you're in my group and you see some great information that you'd like to share with the rest of the group, put it in there. I'd love to see more people posting in that group with low carb ideas, low carb tips, tricks, and even just encouragement, okay? So we're going to start with the big question. What is low carb, okay? Low carb, first off, does not mean no carb, okay? You will have carbs on a low carb lifestyle, okay? What it means is you're just lowering sugars and starches, okay? So those are those things that you're trying to cut back or cut out would be breads, pastas, sweets, chips, those starchy, the starchy vegetables, even some fruits and things like that are pretty starchy. So you're not looking to completely eliminate carbs. You're just looking to lower them by cutting out a few things. White flour is another thing, and that's where I think the breads and the pastas, when you stop and think about those, that's really what they are. Hi, Jackie. what do we do? How do we do this? Okay, we focus on protein, healthy fats, and non-starchy veggies. Okay, guys, I actually am following a guy right now, and he's a fat guru. Okay, I'm just gonna put it that way. And he said, you know, healthy fats, our body needs fats. Our and our body creates cholesterol. And so what he meant by, he said basically, your body creates cholesterol to help you survive. Your body is not trying to kill you with said cholesterol, okay? So he said we have to stop and think about the fats that we put into our bodies and how they affect us, okay? So healthy fats, that's what we want to look for. We want to cut out the non-healthy stuff, okay? So what about potatoes, Tina? We do not eat potatoes. Occasionally a sweet potato, but white potatoes, red potatoes, all those, they shoot Dave's blood sugars way up. And I'm sure not going to sit in front of him because I am not diabetic, but I'm not going to sit in front of him and eat them. And I don't need them either, okay? So, but we focus on proteins, healthy fats, and non-starchy veggies. So those non-starchy veggies, you'll see us a lot of times eating broccoli, cabbage, lots and lots of those types of things, okay? Now, if you're talking about packaged ingredients, and I'm going to get into this a little bit deeper, if the package has more than 5 ingredients in it, you really want to look at it close and read those ingredients really close, okay? Because there's a tendency to hide those carbs in there. Venison is very good for you, and we do eat venison quite frequently. So, hey, Joanne. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you too. So, now I'm going to go into how do we count carbs. This is a question I get a lot. And guys, it really is not that hard, okay? I'm going to turn my camera around here and I'm going to show you how to calculate it using that little nutrition box that is on every single packaged item that you buy in the store has this on it. It is required, okay? It is required. But I'm going to show you how to count net carbs using that, okay? So I'm going to turn my camera around. I'm going to be gone, but you're going to see some other stuff, okay? Ah, looky there. Does that look like, here, I'm going to try to, there, how's that? Okay, this looks like a typical box that you'll find on anything in the store, correct? And the biggest thing you want to look at is the serving size, okay? So I'm assuming this might be on like a protein bar, something like that, okay? So the serving size is 1 bar. Now, if this is on a bag of chips or something like that, you might see 9 chips. You might see so many ounces, whatever that kind of thing is. But if this were on a bar and 1 bar is a serving, so you're looking at the whole bar, okay? Now, if you want to look, calories, there's 170 calories, fat, saturated fat, trans fat, blah, blah, blah. I don't look too much at those, but unless it's a, like an oil that, the seed oils and stuff like that, okay? But I go to carbohydrates. We're talking low carb tonight. We're not talking anything else. So I'm going to the carbohydrates section. Total carbohydrates is 19 grams, okay? Hi, Sam. I am doing good. Now, in this, oh, I kind of cut this out over here. Well, doggone it. Okay, let me see if I can figure this out. There, looky there. Look at me go. You know what? Maybe I'll just bring it down here and hold it. I had it on a stand. I thought that would work best. I'm sorry if I'm making anybody sick. Looky there. Okay, so you've got total carbs is 19. Then you've got the fiber of 2, and you're going to subtract that, okay? So 19 minus 2, you've got 17. Now, this contains sugar alcohol. Sugar alcohols are erythritol, and several like that. Stevia, monk fruit, and allulose are all natural sweeteners. But if you get erythritol and some of the other sugar alcohols, xylitol, some of those, and I wish this one had on it what the ingredients were in this, but it doesn't. Anyway, sometimes you'll see this listed just as erythritol, but that's a sugar alcohol, okay? So it's 15 grams, so you're going to subtract it, okay? So you've got 17 minus 15, you've got 2 net carbs in whatever this bar is, okay? That's how absolutely simple it is. I'm going to say it's probably not a protein bar with only 2 grams of protein in it. But anyway, it was just something I printed off the internet, guys. Super simple. I share this. I'm going to come back around here. I share this calculation in my group, Diabetic Eats with Jan, off and on from time to time. But if anybody ever needs it, just private message me. I can get it to you. Okay. Now that you can calculate those carbs, how many net carbs would you want in a day? Okay. That's going to be a lot dependent on what you're looking to do. If you're looking to lose weight, you're probably going to want to be down to the 20 to 25 grams a day. If you're just looking to maintain, you might go up to 50. Totally based on your body and your everything, okay? So that's kind of what I would go to. Now, one thing I want to point out is like things like white bread. One slice of regular white bread has 14 net carbs in it, okay? So if you're only eating 20 grams of net carbs a day because you want to lose weight and you eat a slice of white bread, you just wasted the biggest percentage of your daily allotment, okay? So that's why we don't eat the breads, okay? Now, broccoli, on the other hand, 1 cup of broccoli has 3 grams of net carbs. So that's a great thing. And not only that, broccoli is very filling. Cauliflower rice, 4 grams of net carbs, okay? So definitely things that you can watch, you can tweak, and things like that. Now, why do we do this, you might ask? Why do I want to do this? Well, there's a lot of benefits, okay? Better energy. I find that my joints aren't creaky like they used to be. I feel like getting the starches and the carbs out of my body has helped joints. You might find mental clarity. Sugar crashes is a big one, guys. I'm not going to lie. When you're eating sugar and the starches and those things, you know, and you take that in, and then once it peaks and it just crashes, and typically crashes below where you were, that's when you start the sugar cycle. And I've talked about this, okay? You know, it's just, you can have more control over your cravings, okay? And that's what a lot of it is. These carbs are addictive, and there's a lot of research out there that talks about how addictive the carbs are and the carb cycle and how it works, okay? And I can do that another day. If somebody wants to know more information on that, you know, I can do that another day. But for me, it's not just about weight loss anymore. It's about feeling good. It's about not feeling bloated all the time. It's about being able to keep up with my grandkids, my daycare kids, and just really, like I said, feeling good, no naps in the afternoon, those types of things. I think sometimes when we eat those high carb things, and I didn't realize it, but you get sluggish after that. So, like I said, now what we focus on, for a meal, and I talked about this earlier, meats for protein, eggs for protein. Cheese has some protein in it, but you want to watch how much you're eating, okay? We focus on the low starch veggies, which I mentioned, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. We use some radishes. Turnips are not bad. I saw somebody mention kohlrabi. I honestly don't know. How many carbs are in kohlrabi? We use zucchini, those types of things. And those, then we do the healthy fats, avocados, whether that be in, we had tacos tonight and we made guacamole. So we're getting our healthy fats through that. Some nuts, but guys, be careful with the nuts. Hi, Angie. The calorie count in nuts, and it's really easy to get carried away with a handful of nuts should just be a small amount, not a handful of nuts, okay? And then the oils that we use, that's something that we're really focusing on too. But it's easy to swap things out, okay? Now, I mentioned bread, okay? Make your own bread at home. I mentioned pasta. It's hard to find pasta, but you can definitely do spaghetti squash, zoodles. Hi, Kale. You can swap out bread too for tortillas. Dave uses tortillas, the low-carb tortillas, a lot of times in place of bread. If you're used to having rice, use cauliflower rice. We've actually made rice out of not rice, noodles out of cabbage and stuff like that. So guys, there's a lot of ways to swap out. And that's what I share over in that group, guys. I'd love to have you join me over there. Okay. Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave. Okay. So what do we do with all of these things? Well, number one, guys, is we meal prep. And I'm not going to say that we spend all day Sunday making every meal for all week, because we don't do that. Very rarely do I make a week's worth of... I'm not afraid of eating the skin on the chicken. Not at all. I don't care. The fat that's in that, God put that fat here on earth. It's kind of like the fat on a steak. I'm not afraid of eating it. A lot of times we do eat skinless, but it's up to you. When I'm talking meal prep for us, it's a menu and everything's laid out. I go to the store one time a week. I pick up everything that's on my list. And guys, I have saved so much money doing this. I can't even begin to tell you. Because I don't walk in there aimlessly wandering. When we walk in a store aimlessly wandering and there's food in there, more than likely you're walking out with stuff that you don't need. Okay? I don't ever do that. I have my list. I go in. I pick up what's on the list. I have everything I need for the menu for the week. I grab my recipes. I shop my refrigerator. I shop my cupboards. And I make sure what I need, it goes on my list. And I go to the store, I bring it home, I put it away, and we are set for the week. That is how I do it. And like I said, I have saved so much money by doing that, I can't even begin to tell you. And if you're good enough at it and have the flexibility, you figure out what store you like to shop at, you get their ad on one day, and maybe you go shopping the next day. And you shop, excuse me, you shop all of their sale items, and that's what you're fixing for your meals this week. Great way to do it. Super duper simple. And, you get all the stuff and you save all the money. Okay. So that's how we do our meal prep as per se. But you want to read the labels, guys, for hidden sugars. Like I said, if there's over 5 ingredients in something, you need to be reading it. They are really good at hiding sugars. I put lists in my group of different names for sugars on labels, all that kind of stuff. And here's the kicker. If you run the train off the tracks a little bit, get back on the track as soon as you can, okay? Don't beat yourself up over it. Just get back on track, okay? Use the tools that are supplied for you. That's what we do. We use tools supplied for us. You can track net carbs in apps. There's several different apps out there. I personally like Carb Manager. You do not have to pay for it. It's how we started counting net carbs, and I could plug in everything we ate in a day, and it spit out how many carbs, how much protein, blah, 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 blah. And it told me exactly what I had for the day. There's other apps out there. There is a paid version of Carb Manager. I have never paid for it. I'm just going to tell you, I'm too tight to do that. So, and then, you know what? Use the tools. We use our supplements, okay? That started us. I can't even begin to tell you what a mind shift we had with that. It's unreal when you can think more clearly. You're not grouchy all the time, because I am a stress eater. And when I was grouchy all the time, I was eating all the time. Now that I'm not grouchy all the time, I don't eat all the time. So think about things like that, guy. Hi, Bev. How are you? So use the tools, guys. There are tools, okay? Don't be afraid to make an investment in yourself. I'm just going to tell you, okay? So that's kind of really all I have. If anybody's got any questions, please drop them in the comments, because I'll try to answer them. If you have a question, more than likely somebody else out there might have the same question. But I would love to have you join us in the group, okay? Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave. Like I said, I share in there. Hi, Cindy. I share in there as absolutely as much as I can. I try it, and I know if you've been in there a long time, you might see the same things come through there, but I'm adding members every single day, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love that I am, but I feel like I need to revisit some of those things, and I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys too. Sometimes I have to see something more than one time before it really sinks into my thick skull, and it's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense now. Hey, Crystal. So I do share things repeatedly, but it's the important things, I feel like. I share recipes. I've got a new one coming here soon. But like I said, I share food, recipes, encouragement, eating out tips, and you don't have to do it alone, guys. You do not have to do it alone. Everybody in that group is there to support you, and I hope that they will anyway. So that's kind of all I have for tonight, guys. I'd love to have you join us in that group, Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave. And if you reached out to me recently about the weight loss group that we're joining starting Monday, there are requirements. Yes, there are. But if you reached out to me and you haven't heard from me, you need to probably check your message requests, because I think I've gotten everybody a message, but I haven't heard back from a lot of people. So if you're curious about that weight loss group, private message me. Tap my name, tap message, and send me a message that says you're curious about the weight loss group. And we'll talk about that, okay? But that's all I have for tonight, guys. I hope you have a great evening. We were going to go camping tonight, but the weather is not looking the greatest for us. Now that we don't go out, it's probably not going to do a doggone thing. So you can thank me later if we don't have any severe weather. But we just decided it wasn't worth the risk. So maybe tomorrow night. But anyway, we're going to get out there. That's for darn sure. But I hope you'll have a great rest of your evening. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you need to be in the group, Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave, drop group in the comments and I will get you a link you can request to join. And that's all I have. I hope you have a beautiful evening, guys. Smile. Pass that smile on. We'll chat later.